I could definitely see like a lot of people our age getting that.
Me too. I can see some like Japanese influences, like
Totally,
the clouds.
Yeah, like in job interviews, I'll be complimented on my tattoos. I'll be asked even to wear specifically short sleeves to highlight those tattoos.
Find out what kind of tattoos could cost you your job, why tattoos could cost you your job in the first place, and most importantly, how to get the kind of tattoos that will not cost you your job on today's episode of Alejandro Verse Tattoo Tourism. Today I'll be going back to college to speak to two very tatted people in two very different generations, trying to answer the question, will getting tattoos cost you your job? And also to explore how the answer to that has changed in the past 20, 30 years.
Com Deus me deito, com Deus me levanto, comigo eu falo, comigo eu canto, eu bato em papo, eu bato em ponto, eu tomo drink, eu fico tonto. Com Deus me deito, com Deus me levanto, comigo eu falo.
I'm 22 years old. I've been getting tattooed now for about 6 years.
I got my first tattoo when I was 18. I go by Joe. I'm from Gainesville, Florida.
Do you think that your tattoos will impact your ability to get a job?
Totally. So I kind of like a funny story about that.
People find me more approachable because of the bodywork.
I used to work at Mark's Prime, this kind of fancy steakhouse downtown. And my manager there, I remember when I first got started, I asked him like, hey man, do you need me to like wear long sleeves?
I work for insurance. Most of the time, it's fine. They may say, go formal.
One thing that he said to me that really impacted me was, as long as you have, nice tattoos that are good quality that you care about, people aren't really going to say anything.
And it also is a conversation starter. They feel comfortable just starting a conversation. Doesn't matter what walk of life they're from, if they're seniors or maybe it's a cultural difference.
My generation is obsessed with personal branding. I have definitely picked up on a personal branding element to tattooing. So the question is, when you get a tattoo, what exactly are you communicating? Dr. Matt is a YouTube psychology specialist. He says
both tattooed people and people without tattoos think that people who do have tattoos seem to be more risk-oriented, more brave, and less stiff.
He also says that people who do not have tattoos tend to see those with tattoos as more aggressive, less trustworthy, and less intelligent. How were tattoos seen at that time?
For women, it's usually like, oh, she's got a tramp. I remember being at work and somebody noticing an ankle tattoo while I was wearing a skirt and thinking, oh, I probably shouldn't have worn a skirt today. I would say 2005 would be about the time that I noticed that nobody cared. That was around the time I started noticing coworkers that always wore long sleeves were starting to pull their sleeves up a little bit.
New businesses, new restaurants, they actually tend to gravitate towards people with, a unique style, with tattoos, with piercings, just because it is such a trend within our generation.
What was your parents' reaction?
They didn't know. Nobody knows. It was just like a biker guy who did it. It was a rose. It looks like a pot leaf. It wasn't supposed to look like a pot leaf.
Once I turned 16, I basically just asked my parents, hey guys, like, are you willing to sign the...
When Jo got her first tattoo in 1989, a sleeve like mine would not have been possible. The reason why is because there was no creative Adobe suites or softwares like it. There was no Ink Master to have popularized tattoos and made it go mainstream. There were a lot less styles than there are now, and there wasn't even social media to share these styles when they came up. So I asked her, what's changed?
Everything. I think everything. What were they using? Anything that would basically vibrate. The autoclaves, sanitation. You can walk into a tattoo shop now and you know, because you can see an autoclave, you can see that their tools are going to be sanitized. Everything is packaged. I know the ink is more vibrant. It lasts longer. In the past it was more blue and it faded faster. It just wasn't as quality as it is now.
This inoffensive little cat comes from a snarling Russian prison tattoo, meaning defiance against authority. So the question is, what kinds of tattoos communicate more fun and boldness rather than aggressiveness and a low IQ? Unlike Joe's generation, Generation Z is blissfully unaware of the seedy origins of tattoos.
Typically do stick to American traditional, but I do also like neo-traditional. There's this tattoo shop in New York called Smith Street Tattoo. The 4 original guys are just like icons in American traditional tattooing. Dan Santoro, Eli Quinters, and Burt Kratt.
Sometimes kids look very hard. They like what I have because it's approachable, it's friendly, it's not angry.
Playful.
I sometimes show them, oh look, there's smiley faces in it. Can you find the smiley face?
Now I'm going to share with Doug some cool tattoo examples from Hamburg, including Charizard, Aang from Last Airbender, some graphic stuff, some new school.
Be on the lookout for more content. I know he's going to be on the grind, so definitely if you give him a follow, you'll have a lot of content coming up that you'll be able to dive into. Super sick. Yeah, I love just like heavy black detailing, super cool. I could definitely see like a lot of people our age getting that.
Me too. I can see some like Japanese influences, like
Totally,
the clouds.
Yeah, totally. It's like almost like a sort of like a Japanese, even almost like anime influence, like you say.
It is big.
Yeah.
It's a Charizard, but in a kind of like Japanese tattoo anime graphics.
Dude, I definitely like that a lot. I like how they've like really highlighted the arrow on his head and his eyes. It just kind of makes the whole tattoo like more alive, if that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And adding those geometric patterns definitely is really interesting as well. It's kind of like it's almost like a mix of a few different styles, and obviously super clean line work is always a plus.
I feel like instead of mixing the anime style with Japanese the way he did here,
Totally.
he mixed it with geometric.
Totally, yeah, man. I really like that, honestly. It's really makes the tattoo pop out a lot.
You want to talk about Japanese Pokemon, bro?
Yeah, dude, that sleeve is killer. I love just like the heavy black body contrasting with the lighter face and the light, like I think those are waves, and just like the water, it really speaks to the Pokemon and kind of highlights its unique characteristics. But
If you can tell, there's also a Slow King down there.
oh yeah, there is. Dude, that's super sick. I love just kind of how he takes all those different things and puts them together and uses that heavy black. Like I said, heavy black I'm just a fan of, so.